Hello everyone, welcome to VOD of Consciousness with Sientir. I am Sientir, and today we are the heroes of Tyria because we defeated the Titans and killed the Undead Lich. So here we have a bunch of different people. Avenia is an important NPC, talks about stuff with a white mantle, and all sorts of stuff there, and the Shining Blade. This is King Adalburn from Ascalon. And he's more concerned with protecting Ascalon and dealing with the Char infestation. There's an interesting point of storytelling that this game has between Rurik and Adalburn. So Rurik is Adalburn's son. And this point of storytelling that I think is very interesting is that they disagree about what Ascalon is. Adalburn considers Ascalon to be the land. Rurik considers it to be the people. And so Rurik, in that, helps the Ascalonians flee from ruined Ascalon over here, over the Shiver Peak Mountains to Kryta. And I've not gone, anywhere in Kryta, but up in this... No, right over here is the... Is this the right spot? I think this is where the Ascalon settlement is. So there's a settlement where the Ascalonians settle after their trek over the Shiver Peaks. And this is the Ascalon that perseveres. And it's still around in Guild Wars 2. Whereas Adalburn does some terrible, terrible things to trying to preserve Ascalon the land, and it ruins Ascalon the people. I think it's a very interesting contrast and a very interesting piece of storytelling to have that sort of division. They both care tremendously for Ascalon, very deeply, but they're very different in how they do so. And what they consider Ascalon to be is the key reason why. Duke Baradin continues. He's a bit more positive. Warmaster Titus is a character that we, I think, met kind of early on. Simon the Scribe, he's a historian, right? And this is another historian. And Oink is a very popular pig. He's an invincible pig in a different mission. So anyway, there's a bunch of different characters that have varying levels of significance. I'm not going to go through all of them because this is not about the lore. There are some interesting things of note. Alicia right here. Maybe I should have pledged myself to Balthazar and become a warrior. Perhaps then you would not have left me behind. So one of the things that happens partway through, I think it's actually the transition... It might be the transition from Sanctum K over to the Amnoon Oasis. But one of the things that happens is you stop having Alicia in your party and start having Menlo. Menlo is a more significant character. There's a number of other characters that are like this. Orion, for example, gets dropped in favor of Sin. Or Sin, probably for Cinders. Aiden replaces Reyna. Let's see. I believe Ede replaces Claude. Is it Little Tom or Stefan? I don't know. Devona replaces somebody at some point as well. But there's a certain tier of, quote, peer, unquote, NPCs that get replaced for kind of, the hero NPCs of, the ones who teach you different arts, as it were, different skills, like Aiden, for example. He's kind of like the Master Ranger. They're the box art characters, basically. Eve, Aiden, Devona, Menlo, Sign, and I don't think there's actually a Mesmer, now that I think about it. But they're the box characters, so they kind of replace sort of your peer characters at a certain point, which is kind of interesting as well. But anyway, Alicia has a skill that I was mentioning that I cannot show you because, I'm not a monk. But it's Healing Touch, and I was talking about it the other day. And so she creates some problems. You have a bunch of dwarves. They join you, these dwarves do, in the quest. Now, I don't think he gives me anything. because I've already done it. So here we get a bunch of like dialogue and stuff. This was not original, by the way. Yeah, the Steldrimmer Javelin, I think, probably came from this guy. Yeah. So I already have one of those. You don't get another one for beating it again. I already beat it on hard mode at a much earlier point in time. So we have a bunch of stuff where he talks about the things that happen. And they have a whole thing of dialogue at some point here with these people about how they went their different ways with Shadow here, who is in the Henge of Dinaravi. And I don't know why the fireworks include bees, by the way. They just have this bee sprite that, like, pops up in them. But anyway, they have a whole bunch of dialogue here about where did a bunch of you go and what happened to you and that sort of thing. And it's all pretty interesting. But if you want to know what happens with that, you can go to the wiki. I'm not going to stick around here too much longer. Old Mac is a popular NPC with his friend Joe. Little Tom and Farrah Capo. Little Tom... So this is actually something that's interesting to do. Because I have it. So let's go ahead and go to Ascalon City, because I have no reason to sit around there. So there's... I can jump into hard mode, and if we look around in hard mode, you'll notice that I've done a bunch of these missions in hard mode with this character. Artery Rock, Alone Reach, Thirsty River, Dunes of Despair, and even everything in here. I'm not playing in hard mode because that requires me to pay a lot more attention or whatever. But what's going to be really interesting to do right now is just take a bit of a gander at who we have available as henchmen, just kind of throughout some of these milestone spots. So these are all guys that kind of count as kind of your initial peers. So we have Alicia, Stefan, Reyna, and Orion. I think you can find all of them in pre-steering Ascalon somewhere as well. Orion, for example, is Orion Elric, I think. And you have to convince him of some political things. But you'll see here, this is the group of henchmen that are here. Yaxbend is the first place where you can go to 6. So let's jump over here to Yaxbend. And here, one of the things you'll notice is Little Tom has joined our potential group of recruits. So has Claude and Dunham. So these guys have joined us now. So Little Tom has a whole quest that we may or may not do at some point in time on this channel, where he like pretends to have gotten hurt and that sort of stuff, and then comes back and whatever. It's a whole redemption story. So I think it's going to be the same crew in Lion's Arch, maybe. I usually use heroes, so I have. That's a ritualist. Well, whatever. Yeah, so it's the same group over there. You can see them. We don't need to go actually talk to them. I'm going to check out Sanctum K. It's just one of those points of like advancement, right? Yeah, see, it's the same group of 7 guys. They're higher leveled here. But then when we go to the Amnoon Oasis, there's a significant difference that'll take place. This is the first spot where we get Lena. So Lena has now been added to our group. So this happens here. Augury Rock, I think, probably continues this group, if I had to imagine. This is just a generic spot for the most part. The actual mission you can do solo. In fact, I think you might need to. But when you beat these, you get to the Dragon's Lair area. And in Dragon's Lair, you'll see, again, the same set of heroes. Henchmen. I'm just kind of going through, seeing what happens. I think it's at the next spot So after there, you get dropped in Drockner's Forge. So that's the first spot where you can do 8 people in a party, by the way. And here in Drockner's Forge, it's quite a big zone. Oh no, it's still the same crew. Little Tom, Claude, Alicia. Where does it change? Now I'm really curious. Because it changes at some point. I don't know if it's... so it's not here. Is it Iron Mines? Is it Thunderhead Keep? Nope, there's Little Tom, Stefan, Dunham. It might just change at Ember Light Camp. Yeah. Oh, what? Wait. Nope. So here we see Alicia's no longer with us. And those 3 are still here, but now it's Menlo, Sign, Devona, Eve, and Aiden. So did Iron Mines... This is something that, like, it's kind of... incredibly non-relevant. Yeah, so here we have this group, and then Stefan, Reyna, Claude, Orion, and Alicia all get replaced. So that's just kind of an interesting thing that they do to kind of show progress. I'm not sure what else to do in this particular episode. It's kind of middle and nothing. I'm going to clear out my inventory. Minor Axe Master might be worth a lot. Axes are somewhat popular. No, I cannot identify a bag that's already identified. You are correct, game. I'm just going to salvage some of this stuff that... You don't need to watch all of this inventory management, but... I'm going to do a little bit of it, at least. So at this point, I would go check these runes to see if they're worth much, if anything. I'm not going to do that right this moment. Let's see. There is, in fact... Is it right here? There's a bunch of zones in this game that, like... You don't have to go visit. And it's just crazy. It's just absolutely crazy how many of them there are. Which really makes the world feel big and like somewhere you can really explore. But it's a bit of an interesting quirk as well. So I don't know what I want to be doing on this character right this moment. But... Not that, I know that much. Let's see. 1, 2. So I get 1 more. I don't know what the... I should go look at those at some point as well. Snowstorm seems kind of goofy. Trying to decide what I want my last skill to be. I'm out of Signets of Capture. I'm probably done capturing stuff for a little while, honestly. I might want to get stuff from some other professions, but for now I think I'm okay. Let's just put on You Move Like a Dwarf, because it's good. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the more relevant characters. And running out. Okay. And I'm just going to take a quick look just to make sure there's nothing horrendously wrong with any of these bars. It looks fine. He's probably okay. I prefer... You know what? Actually, let's just throw on Psychic Instability and just have you go, like, all the way on that. And then where is Splinter Weapon? This game really could have used a... Oh, that's right. I was thinking about potentially changing him to communing builds. Then I changed his attributes and looked at stuff and then decided against it. Okay. Splinter Weapon is just really, really good. So. Milani is probably okay. Signet of Pie Slight's not really important, though. I'm actually gonna give her this instead. And then instead of Lysis, I'm gonna give her Radiant Scythe, because Radiant Scythe gains energy. And honestly, this is probably okay for now. Okay. So that's a really boring end to this particular episode. But hey, you know, that happens sometimes, I guess. So I'm going to start exploring some of the Shiver Peak areas a little bit more next time, I think. Until then, take care, everyone. Bye-bye.